which stocks to be watching out for in today's trade. But we also have Dipan Mehta, Director at Elixir Equities, joining us on the show. Dipan, hi, morning. And good to be chatting with you today. And Ashesha was just flagging off that NCLT outcome that we're expecting to hear on Vedanta today, while the management is confident that their demerger will happen in FY26 itself. All eyes are, of course, going to be on this outcome today. What is your take on the stock, the sector it operates in, and what do you think the timeline for the demerger could be?
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for having me on your show. I think it's a great value unlocking opportunity, but it's getting delayed and delayed because it has a complex transaction. And end of the day, I think a lot of the concerns around debt at the holding company level will get resolved because they may sell one or more of these independent subsidiaries, and that can be used to pay off some of the debt. So from that point of view, it is certainly positive. On the whole, I think the fundamentals are steady, especially Hindustan Zinc should do exceptionally well now that silver prices have gone up. It is one of the largest producers of silver in India because of the process of zinc manufacturing. So from that point of view, I think we can expect good numbers coming through from Hindustan Zinc. And overall, I think it's a steady state business. It's just that the management, there are sometimes some concerns over corporate governance or their capital allocation policies, like, them going to bid for JP assets. I think that's not related to their business. And in any case, I think they have their hands full in terms of expansion plans. So that does cause a flutter amongst investors from time to time. But look, the stock is reasonably valued. The companies are very well managed and efficient producers, and this value unlocking opportunity certainly is positive for minority shareholders.
All right, so within the metal pack, look out for Hindustan Zinc. Yes, of course, the stock hasn't participated much off late, so let's watch out for this particular counter, and even Kunal seemed to be liking the metal pack as a whole, and especially Tata Steel. But Deepan, the other stock that is going to be in focus today will be Dreamfolks, as surprisingly the company has discontinued the domestic airport lounge services with immediate effect, while the other domestic services and the global lounge business will continue as usual. But the fact of the matter is that this was the major contributor to the overall financials. Deepan, how do you read into this news flow, and what as an investor should be your strategy, because it's expected that the stock is going to take a big hit today?
Yeah, well, we are investors in Dreamfolks, so it's a sad day for us on that counter. Let's see what the management has to say. I think it's a massive setback, and I don't know what their plan B is and how they will get out of this particular situation as well. What can I say? I think it's a really, really bad news. And certainly, I think it will impact the profitability significantly. I haven't looked at the balance sheet quality lately. I don't know how it will impact over there as well. But I think it's going to have a severe, severe impact on the stock price once it starts trading today. There have been a lot of murmurs about the business model and its overall dependency on this particular line of business. And the stock has already corrected a lot from its all-time high. I think it's 60-70% down, if I'm not mistaken. And this could be a very, very huge setback. But let us see what the management has planned in terms of taking the company forward.
All right, so that's about Dreamfolks. The investors are in a bit of a jiffy right now, and Deepan too had that disclosure that he shared with us. Let's watch out for that, but let's also tell you what the exact news flow is and how big a hit in terms of the numbers it could be on the financials. And let me take it across to Sharad for all the details. Sharad.
In a major change of business model, Dreamfolks Services has announced that it is discontinuing its domestic airport lounge services in India with immediate effect. And interestingly, the impact will be very big, and the other domestic services and the global lounge services will continue as usual. But what's the impact analysis? Roughly 87% of the revenue comes from just domestic operations as per the annual report, and only 6% of revenue comes from non-lounge services. As per calculations, 80% of the revenue is likely to be impacted. Now, why the pressure is coming on the company as well? There are certain programs with ICICI Bank and Axis Bank were closed with effect from July 1st. And even the institutions have been selling their stake massively over the last 2 to 3 odd years. Now, overall, the entire business model for Dreamfolks is being questioned and has lost their moat, as the lounge business is now dependent on relationship of bankers. Recently, banks have actually started rolling back freebies like lounge access, and large airport operators may provide direct access to lounges. That is why middlemen are getting eliminated and the company itself is forced to change the business model. Now, financial trends, revenue numbers looking strong, but the PAT numbers not looking good. Very small margin is there in this business model, and the shareholding pattern, if you look at it, only Motilal Oswal Mutual Fund, they have remaining 3.1% stake in the company. They also have been reducing the exposure. It was almost 7% in December last year, and FI is virtually no presence in the company now. Last, of course, 5 to 6 months ago, these numbers were more than 2.5% of the total equity size. How returns have been coming in for the stock? It's been very dismal. From lifetime highs down 83%. This year it's down 73%. And of course, on a one-year basis also, the number is more than 50-odd%.
Okay, Sharad, thanks for taking us through that. So we're expecting to see some impact on the Dreamfolks stock today. Pardon me, a negative news flow coming in for that company. Chandan, any chart check on Dreamfolks? Because if you take a look at how the charts have performed, it's down 83% from its all-time high, 1 year cut of 73%, and year to date itself the stock is lower by 65%. What are the charts telling you? Because fundamentally, weakness and negative news flow for Dreamworks has been in the works for quite some time. But on the charts, are you also witnessing similar degree of weakness?
Yeah, so clearly the trend and structure of the counter is negative, and in fact the stock is down by 64% YTD basis and corrected from its high of 847 to almost 123 in last 3 years. And in fact the stock has been making lower top, lower bottom on the monthly chart from last 25 months. So structure is clearly weak. And in fact, on the daily chart, the stock has failed to surpass the immediate hurdle of 145. So till it remains below 145, expecting further weakness. And as of now, the lifetime low for the counter is 123. So it can go down towards 123 or even below 115 marks. So as of now, the weak structure could continue. Avoid going for bargain until if arriving, try to liquidate till it remains below hurdle of 145 marks.
Yeah, I mean, to think of it, it's been an underperforming name, but suffice to say there would be further pressure on the stock when it opens for trade today. On that note, we're going to take a very quick break, but come right back. We'll continue our discussion with our market experts. Seems like we're headed in for a 25,000 almost 400 start. We're just about at that level now. And yes, yesterday you had a whole host of large caps which really came to the fore and propelled the Nifty up. Quite interestingly, within banks, it was quite a bit of divergence. It was not your ICICI Bank and HDFC Bank which participated, but it was an Axis and Kotak which actually were the biggest contributors within the Nifty bank. Then, of course, there was L&T, there was M&M, iShares. So some of these leadership names did well. Bharti as well participated. And autos as a cluster, in any case, has been looking very strong. Even yesterday, Kunal was saying that it's not just M&M, but watch out for Maruti. That could be perhaps the next leadership name within autos. Dipan, what's your preference list within the auto pack now?
Yeah, I think certainly auto has got a big trigger with these GST cuts and the passenger vehicle and the two-wheeler volumes which are kind of flattening out, stagnating, will certainly get an impetus from September 22nd onwards. The preference, of course, is for entry-level companies, Maruti as well on the four-wheeler side and Hero Moto Corp on the two-wheeler side. So these companies, I think, are the biggest beneficiaries. But from our perspective, again, usual disclosures, we and our clients are interested. The two top picks within the auto industry remain Mahindra and Mahindra, which is also a very big beneficiary, but has a far more superior business model, I think, in terms of the EV side. Very exciting products as well. And they also have exposure to the tractor industry. And that also has got a major benefit and relief from GST cuts. So that's one company within the auto space. And the second one, of course, is Eicher Motors, where the 350cc, below 350cc motorcycles have got the benefit. And this company also has been a super outperformer last several months or so. So immediate impact will be on Maruti and Hero Moto Corp. Good trading rallies expected over there, but good long-term core holdings in M&M and Eicher Motors. Again, disclosure, we and our clients are investing in these companies.
Okay, so that's a take coming in on Hero Moto, M&M and some of the auto counters that are in focus, but we also will have some insurance counters that could be in focus today on the back of
and that have been announced. But technically, how is the chart looking like for this counter?
Good morning, Shrishti. Good morning, everyone. So, looking at the structure, stock is in consolidation since last couple of trading sessions, and looking at the overall structure, 1860, 1880 is the immediate hurdle for the counter. So, until unless stock not manages to cross 1880, I think trend is likely to exhibit in the consolidation only. On the downside, 1780 is the important support area for this consolidation. Any breakdown below 1780 may take this stock further lower, and possible down move towards 1720 we can see in this counter. So I think one needs to keep a stop loss. If you are on the long side of trade, 1780 needs to keep as a stop loss.
Okay, that's the take coming in on some of those buzzing names. But just looking at the market construct today, of course, look out for some of those leadership sectors, banks, autos, how much do they propel? And then, you know, what was interesting to see is that some of the relatively underperformers, and that's perhaps names like L&T, for instance, they haven't quite participated in the last lap of the move on the Nifty. They as well perked up about almost 2.25% or so. Dipan, Reliance, L&T, and, you know, one can go on with the list of somewhat spoiled sports, you know, which haven't quite participated in the move on the markets. Would you say it's time to bet on some of these bottom-up stories now?
No, L&T totally agree with you that I think the company is going from strength to strength. Look at the way the order flow is coming through, and order flows are also well diversified. Order book is well diversified, and it's amongst the few nifty companies, large cap companies, where we feel that there's earning visibility in excess of 14-15% or so on a longer term basis. Reliance Industries, I think a lot of concerns becoming a holding company, and that certainly I think is keeping investors away, including us, because if you're going to do IPOs of Reliance Retail and of Jio, then the Reliance shareholders are just going to get an indirect holding into these companies, and whatever is there in the books of Reliance Industries, the investments will never get unlocked. So from a minority shareholder perspective, splitting the company would have been ideal, but the management choice is to go for IPOs, and that will bring in a holding company discount. So then Reliance would eventually get start valued only for its oil to chemical business and the new initiatives. And from that point of view, the stock can correct even further from these levels. But notwithstanding that, I think it's a great company and a great group with a great future. It's just that this particular anomaly may cause the stock price to underperform for some time.
Interesting, and I think that is quite reflective on the way Reliance has actually panned out for almost over a year now. But Dipan, always great to have you on the show. Thanks for your thoughts as always. Okay, let's move on and let's tell you what else has been making headlines today. And the Federal Reserve is all set to cut interest rates by a quarter point. But the bigger question mark is what comes up next. And the Trump administration is urging for a deeper move, saying that the Fed has been behind the curve. Traders are betting on
chart. Even if we analyze the other defense stocks, most of the defense stocks also, you know, witness good buying interest in last couple of days, and most of the stocks manages to view breakout. So I think again, you know, interest is coming back on the defense theme again. BL is looking attractive till stock is holding about 385, 390 zone. I think trend is likely to be exhibit on the bullish side for near term as well as for the short term perspective. We believe that, you know, in continuation of this up move, maybe we could see target towards 425 to 430 on a short term basis. So one can remain long side of trade. On the downside, 390 needs to keep as a stop loss.
Okay, let's take some trading strategies as well before we get set for the big interview. Chris Wood from Jefferies. Kunal, what's on your list?
I'll go with the man JSW Infra. This could be a good or interesting name. The stock finally manages to break out of almost like a 3 or 6 months of a major consolidation, just around that 320 plus mark. So would look out for 336 as a short-term target, stop us at 320.
Right, Rajesh, what about your mid-cap strategies?
So I think real estate theme is likely to play out in near-term perspective. So DLF, we are holding bullish view, and the way stock managed to view breakout on the falling channel on weekly chart, we believe that, you know, this momentum can extend further. We are projecting target of 805 for DLF. On the downside, 770 needs to keep as a stop loss. Another stock where we are focusing is Samvardhana Motherson. Here also we have witnessed a breakout of previous swing high of June 2025. Looking at the strength on the weekly chart, we believe that this stock has potential to continue further more upside. 116 we are projecting target. On the downside, one needs to keep his stop loss as 107.
Okay, counting down then to the market open. Of course, I want to just quickly check in on what the pre-open rates as well are indicating. Let's see what that is up to right now, inching closer to the 25,300 print. I guess in terms of the newsmakers, there's going to be one stock which will be the biggest casualty today, and that's going to be Dreamfolks. So just want to check in on what the pre-open rate for that one is indicating, considering they've discontinued the domestic airport lounge services now.